adjustment. And at this time, I would like invocation, please, if you would do that for us, sir, and followed by the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless this board and its decision-making, bless our city, our country, and its leaders, watch over our troops and bring them home safely. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Norris.
Here.
Robert Inserpi.
Here.
Mark Nussbaum.
Here.
Roger Brunswick. Pete Pastori.
Here.
Richard Donnelly. Frank Lyles.
We have a quorum then, correct, Madam Attorney? Okay. Want to call the first case?
Yes. The first case, and I need to see if I have an agenda. Realize I don't have my agenda. I apologize. The first case is a variance request to allow a reduction in the setback requirement and a special exception request for a wireless tower from 149 feet to 97.6 feet from the north property line of 24000 and 24032 Golden Eagle Drive in Bonita Springs, Florida. This case is being requested to be tabled at this time. Staff can explain further, but the city has not received the papers from the applicant that was expected.
Good morning. For the record, Jennifer Dufala-Hagen. Just to refresh you, last month when we met, we were still awaiting the balloon test from the applicant. That balloon test was flown on January 27th, and staff has received the paperwork for that balloon test. However, in the meantime, staff had a conversation with the applicant on February 21st, where the applicant had a conference call with our city attorney, myself, as well as the applicant and their attorneys, stating that they were going to resubmit an application to change their request. That conversation, like I said, happened on February 21st. March 4th, staff sent out a letter stating that they had 60 days to resubmit their application with their new request. The last communication I had with the applicant was on March 7th, and they have until May 2nd to resubmit before the application is withdrawn. So staff is recommending the application be tabled until we either receive a resubmittal or the clock runs out for the applicant.
Okay, would this table be time certain, or?
No. At this point, we've continued it from the February 18th to this hearing for time certain because we were expecting documents. I think at this point, it's unknown when we'll get them.
Okay.
Was the balloon test favorable?
The balloon test was provided. There was no, it was what it was. Unfortunately, the applicant is changing their request from a monopole to a stealth tower, which requires additional set of review. The standards and the submittal paperwork are different because you're reviewing it in a different capacity. So that is the reason for the tabling of the request, or the application, excuse me.
They're just changing the name, right?
I'm sorry?
Be the same application, only different name,
I
right?
can't hear you.
No, sir. Actually, there's different standard of review that goes for stealth towers as opposed to going for monopoles. So while it's the same tower, same location, it's a different review, and there's different application requirements that have not been provided to staff.
Good.
Yeah, but same application, same property,
Same everything.
same company.
So basically, the ball is back in the applicant's department.
Yes, the ball's been in the applicant's, yeah.
And we, as a staff or a city, have done our due diligence, if we want to refer to it as that, and they have been put on notice, and it's up to them to return and respond.
Absolutely. And in spirit of economic development and those sorts of things, that's why staff had actually put the applicant on the schedule in the first place, because all we were waiting was the balloon test. So we've been trying to get the applicant through the process. However, due to their request change, we will be tabling it at your discretion.
Any further discussion from the board?
I have a question. When we initially accepted the application, there were people in the audience that wanted to speak for or against the application, will those people be re-notified?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I have maintained communication with them and all the parties of interest, and they know that it's still being continued. So right now, as of now, though, it will be tabled, so staff will come back to you with an update once we receive the application and tell you more of a definite timeline.
Anything else? Okay, I will move then that we accept recommendation to table this case until further notice. Is that proper?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Oh, I got
No, we had a vote on it.
Thank
Need an offer or something?
I assume we vote on that, correct, Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the continuation or tabling of this case until further notice from staff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Second case?
Yes, let me call the case file. It's COP 11320 BOS, Promenade Outdoor Consumption on Premises and Live Entertainment. This is a request to allow consumption on premises in accordance with LDC Section 4-1264 et sec. And the Bonita Bay PUD for a 4 COP alcoholic beverage license with live entertainment in conjunction with outdoor seating at the Bonita Bay Promenade, located at 26795, 26751. I'm sorry, 26851 South Bay Drive in Bonita Springs, Florida. John Domer will be presenting the case. If I can swear you in as well as anyone else that may be testifying in the particular case. Please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm testimony you provide is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. In addition to John Domer, there's Christine Ross, who is the Executive Director of the Bonita Springs Chamber of Commerce, and Barbara Harrington, who works for RLI. And I'll take their paperwork, and you've been sworn in, and we'll just get additional on the record now. Mr. Dolmer, you've been previously tendered as an expert in land use and planning.
Yes.
I think we can proceed. Mr. Dolmer?
Mr. Dolman, if you would, if you refer to the packet, would you just bring us to the page that you're on, sir, please? If you're referring to something in the,
Oh, I will.
okay,
I
thank
will.
you.
But we'll
Appreciate
just keep, actually, this is, the nature of this request is an attempt to provide simplification. The promenade has been in existence for many years. They have had restaurants that have outdoor seating. They served alcohol for many years. In the past, what we've done is we have taken each of those change of tenants as an individual administrative process. So when one restaurant would go out of business and a new restaurant would come in, we would simply change the name for that particular location and move on. There were 2 requests that had been submitted within short order to our department, and we decided we can keep doing what we've been doing, or we could simply provide a universal or a holistic approval for the COP to justify each of the existing locations and the addition for Roy's, and those would be under control of the property owner, so that the property owner would then have greater control over their tenants. So with that, I will get started with the presentation. Background on the property, as you can see, mixed use, planned development, future land use. In the planned development that was approved all the way back in 1981. We have all been to the promenade and know the existing uses. This slide kind of hits on what I was saying before. If you see the highlighted areas, those are areas where they currently have outdoor seating with COP, or in the case of the Roy's location, is a new outdoor seating area. If approved, all of those areas highlighted would be under one COP approval. Surrounding property, Lee Memorial Health Systems to the north, it's adjacent to US 41 to the east, Trianon Hotel, Presbyterian Church to the south, and that's really why we're here. When the promenade was constructed, there was no Bay Presbyterian Church there. Since that time, the church has taken up residence just to the west of the Trianon in the old Bonita Bay Sales Center. And now that they are within 500 feet of this property, we now come to you for a public hearing in approval of this COP. The justification, it really boils down to what I just told you. This facility has been reviewed, it has been approved, it has been operational for years. What we are looking to do now is to simply transfer the individual approvals to one that encompasses the entire center. Also, what we're looking to do is to set up regulations that will allow the promenade to be competitive with the other commercial activity centers that it competes with, mainly Coconut Point, downtown Naples, and Mercado. All of these areas have similar approvals, and what we're looking to do is put the promenade on equal footing with those other centers so that their restaurants and entertainment can compete. The conditions of this, as you can see, what we're looking to do is limit alcohol service to between 10 a.m. and midnight, and on Sundays, 10 a.m. To 1 a.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. to midnight on Sundays and 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. every other day. As part of this request, the applicant is also asking for outdoor entertainment. This is also an application that requires special exception approval. We have combined both requests into one application. So to limit noise, we have proposed the following conditions that you'll see here. I also handed out a sheet to you prior to this hearing so you can get a feel for what each of those noise levels is equal to. And really what you're looking at is 60 decibels is kind of the conversation we're having right now. So at the property line, that would have to be the reading for them to be in compliance with the noise ordinance. Are there any questions on the noise or how that's applied or concerns at this point?
Anyone have questions? Evidently not.
Okay. In conclusion, we are recommending approval with the conditions that we have proposed to you. We believe the application is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the land development code. We also believe that providing this holistic approval is a much more organized way to handle these restaurants and these tenants as they come in and go out. And we then place this in your hands.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Any questions for Mr. Dahmer before we move?
Will the proposed change change the need for additional parking?
No, sir. The only additional area that is included as part of this request is for Roy's. That parking calculation has already been done. We really are not in a position to change parking at this point unless they decide to add square footage.
Anything else?
John, excuse me, the church was there prior to this, right?
The church was there prior to this application. The
In other
church
words-
was there after the promenade was constructing and serving alcohol.
Okay, because, well, they had liquor before this came up, right?
Yes, sir.
Around-
They have alcohol sales currently.
Okay.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Public input?
Good morning, Christine Ross from the Bonita Springs Estero Economic Development Council and the Bonita Springs Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm just here this morning to support this application. The promenade is one of the jewels in our community. We are very grateful that RLR has purchased the property and is bringing it back to life. We had our business expo there just last week with over 1,000 community members walking through to see the renovations that have been done. It's really very beautiful. We believe that having them be on equal footing with Coconut Point and the Mercado is very important to bring this fully back to life, and we hope you'll support everything they're asking for. It's an upscale facility, and we foresee that they will maintain very good control over both the restaurants, the outdoor seating, and any alcohol service they're having.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Anyone else from public input? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close that portion of it, and I assume we have no rebuttal. So at that point, we will bring it to the board. So, Mr. Nserpi, would you like to start, please?
Yeah, this is pretty cut and dry. Everything is black and white. I don't see any problem with this at all. And I'd like just to add on to what Ms. Ross is saying, this is definitely a step in the right direction for us, and I approve it.
Mr., you have anything? Diane?
I want to say it.
Go ahead, say it.
No, I'm just saying it.
I just want to argue with you. Go ahead and say it.
Give me that hammer. Forget it. I was going to tell I just cleared up the fact that they were serving liquor before this application came up.
That is my understanding. It would, to me, would be like moving into an area where the airport is already there and then complain about the jets taking off. I mean, the liquor was already being served and the church has come in, so I don't think that's an issue to me.
One of the conditions in the staff report on page 3, item number 6, the applicant must provide security for any non-resident outdoor consumption on premises use. So how will the applicant do that?
As I was saying before, what we're doing is we're transitioning from individual approvals to one approval for the entire center. So then the applicant, in this case RLL Properties, is now in charge of enforcing this with each of its tenants. So however they decide to do that, whatever they feel they need to do to make sure the conditions of this approval are met, we leave that in their hands, simply stating that it is their responsibility.
I'm going to ask John a question, if it's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, do you contemplate them needing special event permits to hold non-restaurant outdoor, or do you plan for this to be the special event permit?
This is not intended to supersede any additional approvals they may need. So if they
Okay,
want to
so
have
I'm
events,
just going to add that in.
if they want to have events that would normally require special event permits, they would need to go through the process for that. That was not part of their application.
So I guess my question really was, if customers are sitting and they're having a drink, can they get up from the seats and kind of wander around and
The alcohol,
look at, go to different shops and stuff?
the alcohol service is intended to be limited to those areas shown in the highlighted area. So, to answer your question, no, it is not. It is not basically what you would consider a removal of an open container law within the premises, and you can simply feel free to roam around. The service should be contained within those areas. That's what we're proposing. That's what we recommended approval for. If there's an intent to provide it throughout the entire center, that would need to be a revision to this request.
Well, are we requiring any type of signage, no drinks to be removed from this area, or stuff like that?
Because each of these locations has been reviewed and approved and is currently in operation, except for the Roy's area, those signs and appropriate delineation of alcohol service is already in place. So we're not looking to do anything in addition to that.
There was a young lady that looked like she might be able to answer a question. If that's okay, I would come forward, please, ma'am.
Good morning. Barb Harrington with RLR Investments, and I'm just responding back to your question about security.
Okay.
We do have a contract with the security company, Weiser Security, and they are there 7 days a week from 6 at night until 5 in the morning. And so I would just think that probably as the day progressed, if there were any boisterous activities, it would probably be more inclined to happen when the security guards were on duty, and they would be able to take care of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions of her, this young lady, this lady? Okay. Seeing none. Yes, ma'am.
And I just have one other thing. I'm just refining one of the conditions, condition number 5, which is the one related to the noise control ordinance. And the way the noise control ordinance works is it generally works from the receiving property line. In other words, the person who has the complaint is where you measure decibel reading. In this case, staff is making a recommendation to have the decibel reading from the originating or emanating property line. And because the property line could vary, and there we go, John even has it on the right one. Because, for example, if it comes from unit 100, the noise, you want to make sure it goes from that closest property line from unit 100, as opposed to, say, the Romos, which is unit 140 and 148, read from that line. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just made it very clear and distinguished, and I'll read it into the record.
From the closest, not the furthest.
Correct. So It would now read, live outdoor entertainment may only occur between the hours of 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily in accordance with the city's noise control ordinance number 06-04, as subsequently amended with the following condition. 60 dBAs during the hours of between 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. from the emanating, and put in parentheses, not receiving, close parentheses, property line closest to the noise source, and I, 55 dBAs during the hours between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. the following day from the emanating, again, not receiving, property line closest to the noise source.
Thank you. Any further questions, any further discussion from the board? Motion?
Make a motion that we accept the
I'll second.
recommendation from city staff.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the recommendation from staff. Any further discussion on the issue? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you. I believe that's it, Madam
Did
Attorney.
I say aye loud enough?
Do I have minutes? They're in here somewhere. Okay, you have a copy of the minutes from last meeting. Do we accept as written? Are there any changes?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded that we accept minutes as meeting, accept the minutes as written from the last meeting we had. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes, okay. I need to sign them? Okay. Okay, any further business to come before the board this morning? Seeing none, move that we stand in recess until Debbie lets us know when we need to come back again.
Anything for next month?
Ms. Philippek?